In a quiet village surrounded by green fields and winding dirt roads, there stood two clay pots outside a small house. Every morning before sunrise, their owner would walk to the river, fill both pots with water, and carry them back along a long path to the market. At first glance, the pots looked almost identical, but there was one important difference. One pot was perfect, smooth and strong. It could carry every drop of water without losing any along the way. The other pot had a long crack running down one side. No matter how carefully it was filled, water slowly leaked out during the journey. By the time the owner reached the market, the cracked pot contained only half the water it had started with. Day after day, month after month, and year after year, the cracked pot watched water drip onto the dusty road and felt ashamed. It compared itself to the perfect pot and believed it was a failure. "I am useless," it often thought. "I can never do my job properly. No matter how hard I try, I always fall short." Meanwhile, the perfect pot felt proud of itself. It never lost a single drop and admired its flawless condition. As time passed, the cracked pot became more miserable. Every journey reminded it of its weakness. Every drop of water that escaped felt like proof that it was not good enough. Eventually, after years of carrying this burden of shame, the cracked pot could no longer remain silent. One morning, as the owner prepared for another trip, it spoke with a trembling voice. "I am sorry," it said. "You work hard every day, yet because of my crack, I can only deliver half the water. For years I have disappointed you. I wish I could be like the other pot." The owner listened carefully and then smiled warmly. Instead of expressing frustration, he asked a simple question. "Have you ever looked carefully at the side of the road where you travel every day?" The cracked pot was confused. "No," it replied. "Tomorrow, pay attention," the owner said. The next morning, they began their journey as usual. As sunlight spread across the countryside and golden rays touched the earth, the cracked pot looked closely at the path. To its surprise, along its side of the road grew hundreds of beautiful flowers. Bright yellow blossoms swayed in the gentle breeze. Red, blue, and purple flowers stretched toward the morning sun. Butterflies danced from flower to flower, and bees buzzed happily among the petals. The scene was breathtaking. Yet, on the other side of the path, there were very few flowers at all. The cracked pot stared in amazement and wondered how such beauty could exist there. When they finally arrived at the market, the owner gently explained the truth. "For many years, I have known about your crack," he said. "In fact, I planted flower seeds along your side of the road because I knew you would water them every day." "The water you thought was wasted has helped these flowers grow. Villagers stop to admire them. Children pick them for their homes. Bees gather nectar from them, and travelers smile when they pass by. Without you, none of this beauty would exist." The cracked pot was speechless. Everything it had considered a weakness had actually become a source of life and joy. For years, it had focused only on what it lacked. It had spent so much time comparing itself to the perfect pot that it never noticed the positive impact it was making. That day changed everything. The crack remained exactly the same. Nothing about the pot was repaired or altered. Yet its attitude transformed completely. Instead of feeling ashamed, it began every journey with pride. Every drop of water that fell onto the path now felt meaningful. Every flower that bloomed reminded it that imperfections can create value in unexpected ways. As the years passed, the pot realized one of life's greatest truths. The problem had never been the crack. The problem had been the way it viewed the crack. Many people go through life in the same way. They focus only on their mistakes, failures, and shortcomings. They compare themselves to others and believe they are not talented enough, smart enough, successful enough, or worthy enough. They spend years feeling discouraged because they are not perfect. But perfection is not what gives life meaning. A positive attitude allows people to see possibilities where others see limitations. It helps them discover strengths hidden inside weaknesses. It turns obstacles into lessons, failures into opportunities, and disappointments into stepping stones toward growth. The cracked pot and the perfect pot face the same road every day, yet their stories ended very differently. The cracked pot eventually contributed far more than it ever imagined, not because it became perfect, but because it learned to appreciate its purpose. Life often works the same way. Challenges may remain, difficulties may continue, and circumstances may not change overnight. However, attitude changes how we respond to those circumstances, and that response often determines the outcome. A person who believes every setback is the end of the journey will eventually stop trying. A person who believes every setback contains a lesson will continue moving forward and growing stronger. The road may be the same, the challenge may be the same, and the opportunity may be the same, but attitude makes all the difference. The moment we stop focusing on what is missing and start appreciating what is possible, life begins to look different. Sometimes the greatest transformation does not happen around us, it happens within us. And once our attitude changes, everything else begins to change as well. Moral of the story? Your circumstances do not define your future. Your attitude toward them does.